Okay, so we're on page 43 and we're working on questions 1 through 12 and we're focusing on inscribed angles. So if you look here at question number 1, they tell me that this central angle here is 132 degrees. Well, if my central angle is 132 degrees, then the arc that it intercepts, the arc that it creates, is also going to be 132 degrees. But the question is asking about angle BAC. And angle BAC is this inscribed angle over here. And by now we know that the inscribed angle is half of the size of the arc that it creates. So if this is 132 degrees, then this should be 66 degrees, half of that. Question number 2, they were asking us for the measure of arc BC. Well, here I have an inscribed angle BAC. And some of you might actually be distracted by this line right here. But yeah, this line pretty much has nothing to do with this inscribed angle here. It's just there as it's a radius of the circle. It's there to distract you. But just remember that if the relationship between your inscribed angle and the arc that it creates is that the inscribed angle is half of the arc, or that the arc is twice as big as the inscribed angle. So if this is 28 degrees, this is going to be 56 degrees. Question number 3 was a little tricky because they told you that, first of all, they're asking you for angle BAC. And they're not giving you any information about angle BAC. But they did tell you that this is 94 degrees. And you know that these two angles here together are a linear pair. They're supplementary. They should add up to 180. So if this is 94, this is 86. Now what I do have here is a central angle. And if this central angle is 86 degrees, well then this arc that it creates is also 86 degrees. And because this is a central angle here. And if this is 86 degrees, well now I have my inscribed angle here, which we can see comes down this way, and my inscribed angle is going to be half of that arc. So half of 86 is going to be 43. So the measured angle BAC is 43 degrees. Let's move on to question number 4 through 11. Well, number 4 through 11, the first thing they tell us is that arc CD is 108 degrees and that measure of arc BE is 100. Okay. So what I did here was I just illustrated the circle in big, and I hope we can see here that I have drawn in arc CD to be 86, sorry, I have the wrong image here. Here we go. So we can see here that arc CD is 108 degrees, and we can also see here that arc BE is 100 degrees. And from that information, we should be able to answer a lot of information. Let's take a closer look here, okay? Well, since arc CD is 108 degrees, I can see this inscribed angle right here. And this inscribed angle here is going to be half of it. So if this is 108 degrees, this is going to be 54 degrees. Okay? So angle CBD is 54 degrees. So right away we can answer question number 7, which is angle CBD. Then they also tell us that arc BE, is 100. But you know what? Before we start looking at arc BE, I want to look at another inscribed angle. Does everyone see here how I have arc CD? Well, this angle here is not the only inscribed angle that I have for arc CD. I also have this dashed one here. Can anyone see that? That angle CED is also touching arc CD. So if this is 108 degrees, this angle right here is also going to be 54 degrees because the endpoints of angle CED are also touching my arc CD. So right there we can answer question number 5. Question number 5 is angle CED is 54 degrees as well. Now that we've focused a lot on arc CD, let's move on to arc BE. Well, arc BE, again, is 100 degrees. And I hope that we can see here that it is inscribed with angle EDB. It comes into angle BDE or EDB. And if it's 100, well, then naturally it's going to be half of that. So that's going to be 50 degrees. So angle BDE is going to be 50 degrees. So right there we can answer question number 6, which is going to be 50 degrees. Next, let's take a look at something else. Let's take a look at the measure of angle ABC. Let's take a look at the measure of angle ABC. Here we have A, B, and C. And if you notice, the endpoints of A to B and B to C, the endpoints of ABC are touching a diameter. So you know that a diameter, that the arc created by a diameter is a semicircle, which is 180 degrees. It's 180 degrees. And then this 180 degrees here, they both come in. So this semicircle comes in to this angle here, to this inscribed angle here. And if that's 180 degrees, well then 180 divided by 2 is 90, which means that angle ABC should be 90 degrees. So that can answer question number 4. That's going to be 90 degrees. That's going to be 90 degrees. Now, since this angle here, since angle ABC is 90 and this is 54, well, we can figure out what this is right here. Well, we can do 54 minus 90 is going to give us 36 degrees. That's going to give us 36 degrees. So right there, we know what the measure of angle ABD is, or DBA. ADB is 36 degrees because angle ABC is 90 because its endpoints are touching a diameter, which is a semicircle, which has 180 degrees, which means that angle ABC is 90. And if this is 54, we know that this is 36 degrees. So we can answer question number 8 for angle ABD, which is 36 degrees. So the answer to question number 8 is 36 degrees. Well, now that we know the measure of angle ABD, we also know the arc that it intercepts, which is going to be arc AD. Now we also know the measure of the arc that it creates, because if this is 36 degrees, then the arc that it creates, since it's an inscribed angle, is going to be twice as big. So if this is 36 degrees, then the measure of arc AD is going to be 72 degrees. And right there we can have, so we know if this is 36, the inscribed angle that it creates is going to be twice as big. So that's going to be 72 degrees. So we can answer question number 10. Let's take a look at questions number 9 and 11, which are the last two questions that we haven't answered. Number 9, they want to know what is the measure of angle BCE. BCE. That's probably one of the easier ones to see at the beginning of this assignment. Well, here I have arc BE, which is 100. Arc BE is 100 degrees. So the measure of angle BCE is an inscribed angle, which would make that 50 degrees. This whole angle here is going to be 50 degrees because this arc is 100. It's an inscribed angle. Its vertex is on the circumference, and it's half of that arc. So right away for question number 9, we know that number 9 is going to be 50 degrees. And finally, the last question, number 11, is asking for the measure of arc ABC. Here is my arc ABC, and if you notice, the endpoints of this arc are A and C, which are a diameter. And you know a diameter is creates a semicircle, and you know that a semicircle has 180 degrees in it. So the measure arc ABC is going to be 180 degrees. And now we move on to the last question, which is question number 12. And question number 12 is asking for the value of x. Well, they tell you that this arc here is 96 degrees, and they give you the value of this inscribed angle, which is 2x plus 1. Well, I know that if this arc here is 96 degrees, I know what the value of this angle here is going to be. It's going to be half of 96 degrees. And 96 degrees divided by 2 is 48. So this angle right here is 48 degrees. So I can say then that 2x plus 1 is equal to 48. Subtract 1 from both sides. 2x is equal to 47. Divide both sides by 2. And x is equal to 23.5. And those are the questions 1 through